Here we go. Oops. Something happened. So glad you guys are here. Let me bring back on my video. I love promptings. Was so excited to start with that video tonight. My name is Callie Teagarden. I am the Senior Field Advisor here at Promptings. I am live at the Promptings headquarters tonight. I'm excited for you to be here to learn more about promptings. I will tell you, I found this company back in 2009. I was looking for a simple way to stay in touch with my customers, to be able to send birthday thank you and holiday cards. I was looking to build better connections, and promptings allowed me to do just that. But what I didn't expect was that promptings was also going to connect me to my purpose and help put me on a pathway to prosperity. But enough of that from me. I want you guys to hear from our founder and chief visionary officer, Mr. Cody Bateman, on why he started promptings and the best way to act on your promptings. So Cody, take it. Oops, wrong screen. Let me bring on Cody for you guys. So Cody, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, it was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because a greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on that, man, if there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 and 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002 was when we first started doing this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. The first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know, I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button, sent it off to her. Now I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by and I show up at church and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me. And I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music of the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call. And I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church, and I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much.
And that's the power of promptings and the prompting system. When we're done here, I'm going to send you back to the person who invited you. They're going to take you to their promptings.com website and show you all about promptings and the best way to act on your promptings. We even here have a 10-card challenge. But before I get there, let me show you real quick about our website. Promptings, right? We talk about our promptings way, which is to act on your promptings, to appreciate others, and attract prosperities. Promptings are those intuitive thoughts that call on you to take positive action. Promptings will create genuine human connection and guide you to your personal genius, just as Cody mentioned today. And the best way to act on your promptings, well, it's heartfelt messages have always been that best way. So as Cody mentioned, he created a promptings mechanism. That promptings mechanism is known as send out cards. The person who invited you here tonight is part of promptings, part of send out cards. And I have two very special guests on with me tonight to share their stories, just as Cody shared his story about his brother and the card to Pat Chase. I first want to bring on Matt Shorty Wells. I have known Matt for several years now. Matt is out of Gulfport, Mississippi, was in San Antonio for a while. We connected both in Texas. But Shorty, I know you have some great stories for us tonight on how you've acted on your promptings and reached out into kindness to others. So I'd love for you to take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Callie. So grateful and honored to be here. I love hearing the story that Cody just shared there with Pat Chase. And the mailbox moment. Really inspirational stories, inspired me in a lot of ways. In addition to doing the prompting card like Cody talked about, where you wake up in the morning and whoever comes to mind that morning is who you're meant to send a card to. I love doing that, but I also love acknowledging the humans in my world. I love acknowledging my humans in moments of condolences, moments of celebration, and just, of course, those random acts of kindness kind of cards. So the first story that I want to share with you today is a friend of mine shared this on Facebook. One of my dearest humans, her mother had passed away, and she had shared that information on Facebook. And I took an image of her mom and her little boy and put that on the cover of a card. And I put, as you can see, there's some things, a screenshot of what she had said on Facebook, and then a QR code. That QR code went to a YouTube video of I want to say it's a Dolly Parton song. It's a song that had very special meaning to this human and her relationship with her mom. So I put that QR code in there, and she told me, of course, and thank you very much for the card. And she told me the QR code got her, and she wept at her mailbox when she scanned that QR code. And that's a card that she'll appreciate forever. She'll never throw that card away. And so I just get to celebrate my friend there for that. The next card that I want to share with you, this one's really fun. So this is a young man from my church. He is an automotive fabricator. He just a real artist. He designed this. He has a car build, and he shared his car build on YouTube. of all the modifications he was doing with his car. And he just painted the car and he did his big reveal video. And I just couldn't help but celebrate this. This was a big milestone in this young man's development of this car of his. He's been taking us on this journey, sharing the build with the car, and he just did this really slick custom paint job. So I told him thank you, and he had shared some comments at the end of the video, and I told him thank you very much for staying true to the dream, not giving up, and seeing the job through. And it was just such a beautiful moment that, and I hope he doesn't see this on my Facebook right now live, because this card will probably land tomorrow in his mailbox. So I hope he doesn't see this and ruin that mailbox moment. I love for my cards to land and let the card be the experience itself. So that's another example. And that's, as you'll notice, a 3-panel card with lots of photos of the young man's car build there. So that was fun to put together for him. The next one here is, in addition to doing the heartfelt cards, the condolences cards, and just the celebrations, it's just the random photo postcards. Photo postcards are fun because that I'll see something on Facebook, and that which I would say in a Facebook comment, I'll just say that on the back of a card instead. And it's just fun to do. So this is a buddy of mine, Jake. He was golfing. He put a photo of it on Facebook and he talked about it being his happy place. So I just popped that on the cover of a postcard, just said, good to see you in your happy place. And I popped that off to him. So there's a few examples of the way that I like to use the send out cards prompting system. And I use it daily and celebrate humans. And I'm the one who gets benefited. When I click that send button and I know that that card is on its way, I send selfishly because it feels good. That's it.
Love, love, love that, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and bringing happiness into the world. Next, I have Grace Strachan. Grace is out of Kansas City, I believe. Kansas City, yes? Yes?
Overland Park, Kansas, yes.
Overland Park, okay. That greater Kansas City area.
Yes.
Grace and I just saw each other 1 month ago, actually out here in South Jordan. Grace, I know you've got some great stories to share with everyone tonight, so I'm going to let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Callie. I really appreciate it. Well, the first story that I have to share tonight is I get up every morning and the first thing I do is whoever comes to my mind, I share a card with them. Well, I got up one morning and an old boss of mine came to mind. And it was funny because I hadn't seen him in 4 years. I actually wasn't even working for that company anymore. He'd retired. And I thought, why is he coming to my mind? But I didn't second guess. I just wrote him a card and sent it. And forgot about it, wrote something very nice about how he had been a mentor of mine. 2 weeks later, I'm driving down the road in St. Louis. And my phone rings on my Bluetooth and I answer and I hear, hello, Gracious. And he always called me Gracious instead of Grace. And I heard that beautiful Southern girl from Texas and said, hey, Tom, how are you? And he said, I'm great now that I'm talking to you. He said, anyway, we just got back from vacation and my daughter brought in a card from the mail that you had sent. And Joe, his wife, said, oh, there's a card here from Grace. And Tom said, great. I hope it's not bad news. Well, here I am driving down the road in St. Louis, and my heart went into my throat. I thought, oh my, what bad news. And I literally pulled into a parking lot to listen to the rest of the conversation. Well, he said to me, so anyway, Grace, we sat down and Joe and I read the card. We laughed, we cried. And thank you so much. You made me feel so special. I didn't really ever know what you thought of me and how important I was in your life. Thank you so much. Well, I got off that call, and the only thing that kept going through my mind was that he had said that he thought that it would have been bad news. And I'm going to tell you something that taught me a very important lesson. I swear now that I will never be the person that only sends information and cards in the mail with bad news in it. I always make sure I send only happy news now. And so the next card that I wanted to share was when my husband passed away. Just to let you know, I never sent Christmas cards. I worked in corporate America, and I found that over the years that if you sent Christmas cards, they never got to the department that you wanted them to go to, because that receptionist got to keep those cards at the front desk and decorate her desk. So I always sent New Year's cards. But when my husband passed away, he passed away a week before Thanksgiving. I really wanted to send a Thanksgiving card and I couldn't get myself to do it. So I sent a Christmas card telling people that I was full of gratitude for all the wonderful years that I had had with my husband. Well, one thing I learned very quickly was that a lot of the people, a lot of my family, a lot of friends separated the pictures that I had put on the card of my husband and myself on the inside of the card. They separated it from the front of the card and put the pictures on their refrigerator. And I was in awe because when I went home to visit in Canada, almost everybody had them on the refrigerator. And I finally got up the gumption to ask why. And my sister-in-law said to me, Grace, you don't realize that we've never seen any of these pictures. I know you've probably shared them on Facebook, but all of these pictures were taken in the United States, and we never ever saw any of these. So I want to thank you for the card you sent us, because it was such a blessing, because it really was in memory of Rick, and we now have a memory that we can keep forever. So lesson learned that guess what? Most of those pictures that go on Facebook go to Facebook prison, or they stay on your phone and they stay in cell phone prison. So always remember to share them with people. Then the last card that I wanted to share was, this is actually something that I learned a month ago when I was in Salt Lake City. Cody said to us, you have to learn to send out systems cards as a heartfelt card. And I have always believed that a system card, or one card sent to many people, is just a card sent to many people. And he said, I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to pick 10 people that you send a card to, and I want you to send a heartfelt message to those 10 people. And I thought, challenge accepted. So I sent out 10 cards to 10 people, and I really put a beautiful heartfelt message in the card. Well, lesson learned again. Guess what? Out of the 10 people that I sent it to, 8 people either texted, emailed, or got a hold of me, thanking me for the card that I sent. So it wasn't just heartfelt from my heart, but it also affected their heart as well. That's why I love send out cards, and that sending those heartfelt cards every day makes my day as well as theirs. And now I'm realizing, guess what? Systems do as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. I love that. Yeah, the power of the heartfelt card, but also those system cards. Such a powerful exercise that Cody had us do when we were all out here. So you guys have learned about promptings. You've learned about send out cards, reaching out in kindness. Well, here at Promptings, we have a 10 card challenge. It is the best way to get started with us. We call it the Promptings Mechanism 10 card challenge. It is 10 cards for $20, good for 20 days, stamps included, anywhere in the world. If you have never tried our system, this is the best way to get started. Not only do you change your life in this process, but you can change the lives of 10 other people. So if you haven't taken the challenge, get back with that person who invited you on, get their website from them, and take that challenge today and go change 10 lives plus your own, being 11. For those of you that have already taken the challenge or want to jump further in, we have our Promptings Mechanism heartfelt prompting card subscriptions. We've got a $37 a month, a $97 unlimited heartfelt prompting card. Get back with the person who invited you. They can tell you more about those subscriptions. We also have our Promptings Process package. That is a package that includes system cards like Grace just talked about, a virtual assistant to help you get started, the first month of that 97 unlimited, a coach, and so much more. We have a plethora of options here. But again, if you've never sent a card on our system, let me challenge you to be part of our 10 card challenge, and go change lives. If you've already done that, you are here, you know the power of that. Get back with the person who invited you and upgrade, subscribe, and save. Find the best option for you. Last, I'd be amiss if I didn't mention it. We do have an affiliate program here at Promptings. If you have fallen in love with what you see and would like to get paid to share it with others, please ask that person that brought you here about our affiliate option. With that, thank you so much for coming out tonight and joining us to learn more about Promptings. Please get back with the person who invited you, get your questions answered, and join us today. Get started. Let us challenge you. Let's go change the world. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and let me be the very first person to welcome you to Promptings. Thanks, everyone. Good night.